Hello. If you have watched the Terminator movies, you will know what Skynet stands for.
If we uplink now, Skynet will be in control of your military.
But you'll be in control of Skynet, right?
That is correct, sir.
What if I told you I believe there is an opportunity for you to invest into a real Skynet at the very beginnings of its inception? That opportunity, I believe, has come in the form of Blacksky. Today, we are going deep drilling into one of Peter Thiel's mithril investments and see what we as investors stand to gain if we invest right now. Stick around. This is one stock you literally cannot afford to be in the dark on. Keeping it simple. For those of you new to the channel, I am the Simple Trader and I share with you double EPG stocks. Yes, explosive exponential potential growth stocks that I am buying, looking to buy, or already have sitting in my freedom portfolio. I am not a financial advisor, so please understand this is all just for entertainment. Full disclosure, after deep drilling operations, I can confirm that I will be averaging in a position in Blacksky and look to take advantage of the stock market correction that is happening right now as I'm recording this. No more plugging. Let's start drilling. Okay. On February the 18th, Blacksky announced a merger with Osprey Technology Acquisition Corp. Yes, this is another SPAC merger and the ticker symbol is SFTW. The merger is targeted to be completed in July this year, and once confirmed, Blacksky will begin trading on the New York Stock Exchange with the new ticker symbol BSKY. Okay, some of the main details of the merger that should be noted include the business combination is going to provide approximately $450 million of net proceeds to the combined company, which will help to fuel and spark its future growth. This includes a $180 million common stock pipe with participation from leading institutional investors, and one which stands out for me is Mithril Capital, which is one of Peter Thiel's global investment arms. Peter Thiel, if you didn't know, is an all-star MVP caliber serial investor, best known for being one of the first investors in Facebook and the recently gone public Palantir, and we will touch on the significance of this in the next segment. Now, the pro forma enterprise value upon the merger puts Blacksky at a $1.1 billion valuation. Guys, we will drill into Blacksky in the next segment, but know this: for what Blacksky represents both now and in the future, in my opinion, this $1.1 billion valuation is very cheap and represents a huge discount when compared to the valuation of relative peers in the space industry and other SPACs such as the recent CCIV Lucid deal, which values Lucid at a ridiculous $24 billion. But of course, that's just my opinion. Okay, so what is Blacksky? Let me attempt to put this in very simple terms. Blacksky is a global monitoring, which I suppose is a less controversial way of saying surveillance services provider. They're literally providing eye-in-the-sky services via smallsats, which are the industry term for any spacecraft with a mass of less than 500 kilograms. These smallsats are able to provide satellite imagery, data, and intelligence via Blacksky's proprietary data analytics software platform Spectra. Due to the advancements of the lowered cost and time of smallsat assembly and the lowered costs of deployment of LEO low Earth orbit satellites via services such as SpaceX's Falcon 9, their business model for me becomes financially viable and scalable for future exponential growth. What is key to me is their Spectra software integration brings ML, machine learning, and AI, artificial intelligence, to provide geospatial analytics and cloud computing to self-service platforms at a fraction of the infrastructure needed in the past. Simply put, I believe Blacksky is at the start of an AI surveillance revolution, and whether we like surveillance or not, I think it is inevitable and it is forthcoming. I don't want to get into ethics and what I truly feel about this kind of technology moving forward, as a reason for this video and deep drill is simply to find out whether we as investors can stand to make any money or not. Okay, listen to the CEO Brian O'Toole and see if you get a hint of what the AI aspect of his business is likely to mean for our world moving forwards.
And what do you think the killer app could be?
I think what's going to be interesting is we'll have the ability to monitor the Earth in almost near real time, which means we will understand what goes on in some of the most important places around the world continuously, which is going to mean we understand what normal is and abnormal, which is going to get us into a world of predictive analytics, an entire AI machine learning processing system, and a cloud computing environment to distribute the data worldwide. They're almost like flying webcams. You basically, they're up on these satellites, and you can, from your browser, tell it where you want to take a picture, and it will steer the satellite, take the picture, and send it back to you and get it back in your inbox on your phone or on your PC.
And who are kind of the early adopters, do you see, of this kind of data?
Obviously, there's a lot of applications in the government. We've been doing work with immigration.
Did you get what I get? I get the sense that this kind of technology is just the beginning of the end of free will and freedoms as we know it today. But hey, that's just my feeling. Okay, so Blacksky put together quite an attractive proposition in their investor deck. But we have to be very careful with these SPAC presentations, as we should think of these as more of a sales pitch rather than a complete, unbiased and audited summary of the state of the company at hand. So even if you have no idea why you'd be looking at this investor deck or who Blacksky are, don't worry, because they've included a slide on their own bullish thesis as to why we need to hand over our cash to them right now. The big ticket point I want to highlight, and this is one of the biggest reasons I do believe and want to invest in this company, is, and I quote, opportunity to own a category defining company in the new space economy, end quote. I absolutely agree 1000% with this, having drilled into all the company and what they do. To add more nuclear fuel, Morgan Stanley estimates the global space industry will surge to a mammoth $1 trillion industry by 2040, with Earth observation being one of the 10 drivers of the new space ecosystem. Earth observation is exactly what Blacksky are all about and more. To put into context, it used to be that large satellites costing millions of dollars to get into orbit via billion-dollar space rockets took photographs from space and sent these back to Earth for various use cases like Google Earth and Google Maps, and obviously various government intelligence agencies worldwide. That was pretty much where the buck stopped per se. What is different with Blacksky's approach? Well, Blacksky have their own proprietary software platform Spectra that operates with machine learning and artificial intelligence to provide the customer with insights that were previously unimaginable. These are summarized on this slide and include event detection, where the software automatically flags up any anomalies or discrepancies with the imagery data; computer vision, where motion identification and tracking is automated; change detection, where notifications are created for detected changes, and even automated tasking is available for detected changes; routing prediction, where time and arrival of route deviations can be monitored and alerted ahead of time. So think about this, a user can now change the course for better efficiency and production; time series analysis, where trends and forecasting future activities are analyzed and data is modeled to be fully understandable by the user. Okay, if those weren't scary enough, look at this next slide, where the meat is really put onto the table. With Blacksky's platform, one can monitor the Earth in real time, monitor global activity, detect and track change, all of which enables actionable intelligence. This is literally science fiction becoming reality. And so you may be asking, who would want to use Blacksky technology? Well, they do list some serious players, and is it any surprise that they consist of key US government defense departments, including the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency, the US Air Force, and the National Reconnaissance Office. They also reveal in the press release that they have established contracts with multiple government agencies in the US and, check this, around the world. So the current customer base seems similar to what started Palantir all those years ago. Okay, what about the commercial market applications for real-time geospatial intelligence? Well, they do present a logical case for 6 sectors, including energy and utilities, insurance, mining and manufacturing, agriculture, environmental, and engineering and construction. Simply put, the CAGR and growth in these markets project a supernova in exponential explosive potential revenues. I do see Blacksky infiltrating cross-sector and cross-markets worldwide based on the value that they bring to the table. This is where I see the similarities between Blacksky and Palantir. Both are platforms that enable companies to improve and save costs, and more importantly, almost automate the way they operate while destroying their competition at the same time. Okay, check this. They claim to have a $1.7 billion pipeline of near-term opportunities, which, if this comes to fruition, puts them somewhere near Jupiter. Their actual business model is very well worth noting because their imagery business is currently 64% of revenues. Well, check this, 90%. Yes, 90% gross margin. Holy cow. Then we have their data software and analytics, which I am actually most bullish on, coming in at 33% of current revenues, with still an impressive 60% gross margin. As for the remaining revenues, it comes from their engineering, where they help customers to develop advanced satellite payload development programs. Now for me, this is where the whole proposition just goes nuclear. They are projecting supernova-esque revenue growth for the coming 5 years, and check this, from $46 million revenue in 2021 to $546 million in 2025, representing a disgusting 1086% increase, or simply put, over 10x. What's more impressive is they currently have contracts in place and are already revenue generating, albeit reporting a loss for the last 2 years, which is very understandable for a tech startup. Now, according to their financial guidance, they project they will be posting positive EBITDA of $1 million by 2022, which is next year. This is huge, but not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at 2025, which they are projecting a positive EBITDA of $244 million. Yes, $244 million, meaning a disgusting 244x increase over 3 years. I want to look back at this video in 3 years' time and see what has actually materialized, but I don't want to be on the end of what if I had invested. Okay, the final piece of the pie is, where does Blacksky sit in all of this? Well, I think they are in their own category as shown in this slide, where I agree that their new space technologies and next generation data analytics paves the way forward for them to dominate this virgin market sector. If all this wasn't enough, they provide us a series of slides benchmarking themselves against who they believe are their industry peers. To me, these just seem like little jabs at the current space market players. Look at the revenues, in which from 2019 to the projected 2021, they are ahead of the likes of Virgin Galactic, Momentous, who, if you didn't know anything about, you can see my previous video on them, and AST Space Mobile, who are merging with MPA, and again, you can go check out my previous video on them too. To summarize, there are a few risks here that I think you should know, such as the $1.7 billion in pipeline from existing customers. I mean, we have no transparency on this whatsoever. We don't know if it's a handshake or just a nod of the head. Therefore, we will never know if these ever come to fruition. Further risks I think we as investors need to weigh up is the projected revenues, which seem ridiculously over bullish, based on the CAGRs that are also based on speculation and estimates. Further to this, the projected growth in the various industries that would require such surveillance services are just projections and assumptions too. Basically, we need to start seeing some proof of business come to fruition this year and next in order to start seeing their exponential growth projections coming true. Okay, full 180. Having said all that, as with all futuristic high-tech companies, there will always be doubt until proof of concept, or in this case, proof of business. The reason I am investing is because I believe in the double EPG of this stock in the years to come. Yes, the stock does carry risk, but with all investments we make, we have to deal with the risk as much as the potential gains, just like Denzel says.
When you pray for rain, you gotta deal with the mud too.
Now, what is my play on this? I will look to average in a small position over a few days to take advantage of the current market decline. At the time of recording, the whole market is in death mode, and SFTW is down a whopping 12% and trading around $12, which is already a clear bargain. I I think this stock has a potential to maybe 2x over the next couple of months if the market correction ends, and especially if with the ARKX ETF in the pipeline and being a monumental potential huge catalyst for the stock if it gets included. This is just my gut feeling based on the space market hype and what I believe this company represents moving forwards. I do think there is a high chance that ARK will add this to ARKX, but nothing is certain, and even without ARKX I do think this stock has double EPG. Simply put, whatever Peter Thiel touches tends to turn to gold, and so I do see this as another gold mine in the making. I want to end with a Warren Buffett quote for you all investors out there who are worried about the current state of the market and any investments you may have. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. I hope you see the value in this, especially during these times. Trade safe and keep it simple. Thank you for watching, and remember that my thesis on Blacksky is a bullish one, so do take my analysis with precaution. Do your own due diligence and speak to a professional before you look to invest any of your money. If you're interested in other huge growth stocks that I do have in my portfolio, please check out my other videos. For more huge growth stock picks, analysis and updates, please stay tuned and consider, subscribe to my channel so you get the information first. I am the Simple Trader and I try to keep this simple, and will simply see you next time.